Hi Fabian.
Hi, Carlis.
It looks like every time we talk, there's some version 2 of something coming out.
Yeah. Funny and exciting times.
Version 2 of Quad Cortex very recently. It took me by surprise. I was not in the loop about this. Was a new development for me, and I did some first tests and was really impressed. I didn't expect that level of improvement. It's my impressions were that this puts this device into a new level. Basically, it's a different product for me.
Yeah, it was really kind of funny because I think 2 days before there was the big release of Helix Stadium, and then 2 days later there was a Quad Cortex update, and I was thinking, okay, what are they doing now? Since the last update was long time ago. We're not talking about the plug-in integration, that's a whole other thing, but the recent big update was long ago, so that was really kind of surprising.
Yeah.
And it makes me really think, okay, what are they doing? How is it? Is it getting better or not?
Yeah. So
Exciting.
So you spent a bit of time. Was that version 2 capturing already? I think you captured your new Scylla Jubilee.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what were your first impressions?
Jesus, it was, yeah, it's like a newborn Quad Cortex actually. It really feels a lot more response and offers more dynamic range and feels a lot more natural. And when you do the comparison, there is this thing where you can reference like 2 or 4 or 6 seconds, I think.
Yeah, the
And I was
automatic switching.
Yeah, automatic switching, and I was doing that and was just playing. I couldn't hear and feel any difference. And that was kind of surprising. At first I thought, maybe there is a bug. Maybe I did something wrong. So I tried to retest it, but it was the same. I did the capture, and I was like, hey, I'm sold. It sounds and feels great.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because to me, I also laughed about this while automatically switching from reference to the capture, and I was really suspicious. Is it really switching? And
Yeah.
and you can obviously hear that easily because the capture has less hiss, less background noise. That's the giveaway.
Yeah.
But apart from that, so one of my first tests was, okay, so the attack is spot on, the dynamics are spot on, it reacts exactly the same, it sounds the same. So I started to go into some, anal details, like how does a chord ring out when you hear some of the fizz that builds up, those harmonics. When they become more dominant, the more the chord dies down, basically, the bass sound of that. And on the most amps I tried, even that was basically identical on the Quad Cortex, which is insane because
It's really insane.
I think, well, I mean, it's in no way a scientific, scientific test that I've done. It's all just by ear and so on. But I know that even NAM has some of those harmonics missing sometimes on some amps. I know that ToneX has the same going on. And I know there are some amps or some instances or settings where Quad Cortex also misses those highest harmonics. They sometimes, as it turns out, rarely, because now for our little test here, I did 20 amps, and like where I clearly could find this difference was one amp. That was the
Interesting.
yeah, that was the back. Well, I mean, clearly. I had to listen how a chord rings out and listen to those subtle upper harmonics, and I could hear the difference. And the amp was Era 30 BCAT. That was,
Okay, yeah. That's a very complex tone.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so let's be honest. I mean, I think for the musician and for the guys who use these devices, it's important that it sounds right away good. And you do the more analytic things, and that's great. And also there is Leo Gibson who does the null test thing, which is also nice. But in the end, I think it's more about what we hear and how we feel when we play. Because actually the null test, I'm not a very big fan of it actually, because it's too far away from what actually music is, because I don't think you can measure some kind of stuff. There are guys who actually measure out pickups and say, oh, it's all the same, but it isn't actually. But there's these guys and these guys, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's probably important not to get into one of those extreme camps of like everything that measures the same is the same, and also the other side is like, you know, the cable voodoo and all that stuff. So somewhere.
I mean, man is man, woman is woman, not. So.
Yeah, so there's, you know, but I think that apart from the BCAT, I don't remember any other amp that clearly was lacking this harmonic and Quad Cortex. So it was really, really close, even with the fuzz sounds, even with like high gain stuff and so on. This is also where ToneX version 2 improved drastically. Was what we also spoke about the last time, and in general, is that with pedals in front, ToneX kind of gets less accurate the more you stack in front of it, or used to be the case with version 1. Now with version 2 it's way improved, and I had the same feeling also with Quad Cortex version 2, that it's nailing those sounds. And the most amazing thing, it's really fascinating, is well, for ToneX, and I find it still, I know that there are already, the null tests are out, and people claim, according to those, ToneX might be more accurate, which maybe it is the case. I can't comment on that, but I know that to my ear, listening and comparing the captures I did for Quad Cortex and ToneX, one easy way how to spot the difference in ToneX is not on chords, but single line runs. Funny enough, it's somehow you hear a difference that's very apparent. There's some on those single note runs, you can earlier kind of heard that some fizzy harmonics that are somehow washed away in the chord. You don't hear it that much so early. You hear them later. On the single note runs, you hear them quicker, and that's where you immediately notice the difference in ToneX. Not the case with Quad Cortex, for example. So single note runs sound identical, chords sound identical, and what I found the most amazing thing is that when you switch on this automatic switching for 2 seconds or whatever, and just play a chord, and it goes, you know, to one and the other, and it's the same at any point in time, even when those harmonics fizzle out, it's the same. It's not the case with ToneX, definitely not. I've checked that with multiple amps. ToneX sounds great. It gets this character of the amp really well. It's like basically also spot on. But those subtleties, like those harmonics, the fizzy stuff, sometimes it's there and nice. But more often than with Quad Cortex, you know, the sound is, let's say, simplified. Yeah, some of those harmonics are out. And it still sounds great. That's not a critical point. I mean,
absolutely.
We're talking about like the level where a butterfly.
The last 5% maybe.
Yeah, we're talking about butterfly farts basically. It's like that's differences that don't matter anymore. And honestly, I think I've read comments about, you know, people of course often form opinions before they test something, or you know, people like to believe one or the other camp or whatever, and I really recommend testing this for yourself. You know, that'll be the easiest way to be convinced. But I think at this point, if somebody claims that, for example, in Cortex version 2 or ToneX version 2, that there is some tube warmth missing, I think it's delusional, honestly. It's like, you know, yeah, you could argue there's some harmonics missing, but it has little to do with, you know, tube warmth or whatever.
But let's be honest, if you then play the original amp, you always have to clear your mind that it's not the same every day, because there's different voltage.
Oh, yeah.
There's different power.
Tell me about
the tubes will wear out, and the capture, it's always the same.
Yeah.
So that might be an argument, and I don't think it's. We will test it out so everyone can hear, and I think for the future it's more important which. So with which unit you can work the best, which has the best user interface for you, maybe the best effects. Maybe you don't need the effects and you go just another platform. So I think this is way more important, actually.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point that you mentioned, because I also thought at this point with Cortex version 2 and also ToneX version 2, those differences, are at the point where it doesn't matter. The sound is basically, I assume that in the near future or from now on, it's like a given point that those devices that can do captures do them basically spot on. That's a given. All of them do that. I assume proxy by line 6 won't be worse than any of those. It will be as good or maybe better. But it is already, I am not holding my breath anymore for proxy, because it'll be nice, cool. And the device will be great and all, but any of those other two are already fantastic. And then you just have to decide which effects you prefer, what workflow works best, what interface you like, whatever, what brand you like.
And even the playing field is pretty much dead on with all the units. It's just a matter of preference, because on some units you have to dial in some stuff like input trim and stuff like this, and you have to know that a little bit. But if you're already are warm with it, everything should work. So
yeah. So from a player perspective, even with like super dynamic stuff, fast runs, everything, because you're a great player. I'm mostly like a technical guy. So from the player perspective, do you feel some nuances still?
Yeah, definitely. Between all the units, I can definitely feel a difference, because to be honest, I haven't used the Quad Cortex in a live situation this time with the new update, but I have used the ToneX, and I've also used the NAM Dimed player, and I don't know if anyone could hear the difference if I was using the ToneX or if I was using the NAM, but I definitely could feel, because I think the hardware on the NAM pedal is has a little bit better response. I think so. I'm not sure, but I think there are better hardware parts.
Better? What do you mean? Is it like less latency or?
Yeah, less latency, and I think that's the point. I think the pedal has around 0.8 milliseconds, and the ToneX pedal has around 2.5. I don't know, something like this. Might be that this is the only case. I don't know, because how can you tell? You have to record the stuff, and if you record it, it's so hard. I couldn't actually tell. There are some hints for me with the NAM player. Everything seems to be a little bit brighter, just a tiny bit brighter, and the ToneX pedal seems to be a little bit warmer, but really subtle nuances.
Yeah, that's we have spoken about this a number of times, and that's still my impression. As accurate as NAM is in many ways, and it sounds great, and there's no question about it.
Killer.
It still, to my ear, results in slightly brighter, let's say, sounding or captures that are perceived by the human ear as brighter. Why I say that is because I have a suspicion that the reason why it sounds brighter is not because of frequencies, but because of the dynamics. Because I have the feeling that the captures in NAM results in a bit more dynamic range than the actual reference sounds. I might be totally off. That's just going by ear and intuition. So it's maybe, take it with a lot of grains of salt. But that is my impression that, and there are some amps and some specific captures where this effect of that this dynamic range is like more dynamic in the NAM capture, where it's very, obvious with some amps that are rather compressed and so on. And a similar and even much stronger effect I felt with Quad Cortex version 1. Which also to me always seemed brighter, and I think brighter it seemed, again, not only probably just because of a brighter frequency response, but because, first of all, some frequencies were missing. It was kind of stripped out of some frequencies. It was a simplified sound, and the treble was still there and more obvious. And the other thing was, again, this like more dynamic sound. So, and I mean this in the strict sense of dynamics. So if you give a hard attack, it gives you, a very hard attack back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it reminded me a lot of kind of camper style. A little bit better, of course, but if you listen to the old DI tracks that were running while the training, it pretty much felt more computer-like. So not like now, or like the ToneX. There are actually guitar samples and DI sounds. There were more like alien-esque kind of weird noises, and I don't think, it was a different bandwidth, I think. So that's why it might be different then.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of reasons, but one of those is for sure this test sound that they involved in. As you say, it's a mix between this alien stuff and a real instrument somewhere. Well, either way, whatever the case is, with those version 2 Quad Cortex captures, well, I'm totally sold. So this is, to me personally, I can go on record with this. To my ear, Quad Cortex version 2, at least at this point, sounds the most authentic of all the three top contenders, NAM and ToneX. And again, we're talking about minuscule differences that are basically not important, but of course, as nerds.
The thing is, which I noticed right away, was when I was doing the ToneX version 2 captures, it was nice, it was great, but still it was something is not 100% there. But with the Quad Cortex, I think it's there. I don't miss anything. It might be the case where you say, okay, there is something missing, but actually it's not important for me as a player.
Yeah,
might be.
Yeah. And I personally, with Quad Cortex, well, I'm a crappy player, but whatever I try to do on the guitar, I cannot find a difference in the response. It also responds exactly the same. With ToneX, some captures sometimes they kind of feel a bit more direct than the reference. That's one impression I had. It's like it sounds almost like if it's closer to the mic or something. Hard to explain. Like it's drier, or even if it's DI captures we're talking about. So that's one difference. But it doesn't, doesn't change the character a lot, or it doesn't make it worse or better. It's slightly different. Yeah.
I mean, I can play until the end of time with the ToneX version 2 and I would be happy. But the thing is, when you find something that is a tiny bit more accurate, you feel it. And then it's a lot more fun. And that's why we're doing it. It's fun.
Yeah. Okay, so probably enough of us just talking. So the idea we had for this video is that we could basically stress test Quad Cortex version 2 captures, and in the second part we're also going to do a comparison between the same captures made in the same run, like literally identical, on Quad Cortex, ToneX and NAM. And
that will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm also really looking forward to that. And in this first part about the Quad Cortex, so I captured, I don't know, 20 or 19 something amps. And I tried to do as different amps as possible, and thinking about like different categories of tonal aspects that these amps represent. So it's very different sounding stuff. Like, for example, there's like the most dynamic sounding amp that comes to my mind right now is the Super Dragon. It's like the cleanest amp I've ever tried. It's crazy. It's like people associate with, obviously, with Jimmy Page, his amp, and Led Zeppelin and so on, but I can tell you from bitter experience, on when it's on volume 8.5, which is like insane volumes, and it has KT88 tubes, so it's like basically Marshall major levels. It barely gets a decent crunch.
Jesus, all right, okay.
Imagine that. Yeah, a normal super bass, which is already is one of the cleanest amps, way cleaner than any Fender, any blackface Fender or so. It has way more headroom. People usually don't know that, but that's the case. It's insane. That distorts at, I don't know, 6 or something like that, and that's the same volume taper. It's not like the knob is different or something. It's like really insane dynamic range and headroom. So that is one extreme. The other extreme is, again, as we talked, there's like those cases where the dynamic range by the device is changed in the captures. So the other extreme, or the compression characteristics, one could say also. Yeah? So the other extreme is the Gibson GA-20. That's the most compressed, smoothest, gooeyest amp that I've ever encountered. It's like a rubber band. Yeah. It's so squishy. So yeah, if anything goes wrong with the compression part in the capture, you'll hear with that amp, because it's so, you know.
And I think that's really cool that you choose those kind of different characters, because it really shows how good the unit is.
Yeah.
Not just high gain, not just clean, so every range that is possible, actually.
Yeah, I think we have a good bunch there for really stress testing. So yeah, so we have various stuff from clean to high gain, and also in regard to the amp character, it's very different amps. Yeah, so and I think I won't, talk much about it anymore as an intro. Let's just probably dive into the sounds, and then we can react and comment on the sounds. So this is the first time that I'm gonna hear Fabian play on those captures, and I myself haven't really played them either. I've just created them, tested them, and it's not really playing.
Yeah, so, me neither. I haven't played it. We're testing before the stream if everything works. We're just using the Bogner, and we're thinking, Jesus, that sounds killer. So that will be very interesting, because really I have no idea how these captures turned out now.
Yeah, and one important thing, maybe, we're not being paid, we're not being sponsored in any way. The units that we have been bought from our own hard-earned money.
Yes, no sponsorship.
And nobody asked us to do anything, and so on. So so all of those opinions that we share are truly ours, and just are coming from our interest in this topic. So
yes, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. One important thing we should mention here, so these are the eye captures.
Oh, sorry, I apologize for the quality of the feed that we have, because we suck at technology, and we didn't figure out how to do this better. But so the Quad Cortex, I understand it's basically unreadable, but we're gonna
I'm gonna
comment.
Explain a little bit. Yes. So let me just start with the editor here. So basically, I am having here the Bogner Uberschall, and here is the IR, which is from Carly's, of course. It's the Mesa 4x12 V30 with no high-pass filter, and then we have a tiny bit of, spring, but at first I will turn it off, but later on I would leave it on, because I think it's a little bit cooler to have some kind of a little bit room, because all guitars bone dry are difficult sometimes. But at first, really bone dry, so that we can hear and see how it reacts. I also did put in some kind of a delay for later, maybe for some lead tones, because I think it's also great to hear how it sounds with some effects. So should I start with the Bogner then?
Yeah, not a bad start at all.
No. I need to remind myself to switch off the microphone now, otherwise it will sound ugly, so I will start. lot of fun, even with headphones, because I hate headphones actually, to play guitar with headphones, but this really was a lot of fun. I can feel connect right away. I need to tune, that's another thing. But I don't know how you hear it there, but for me it sounded really killer.
Yeah, it sounded monstrous, really great sounds. It has a lot of gain, but holds together nicely, and it's also, I think the Bogner Uberschall Mark II is, to my ear, I mean, high gain is not my first home. I'm still learning a lot, and a lot of stuff to learn. But from what I've learned so far, to me it sounds like somewhere a mix between something like a Diesel VH4 and something more a bit more open. Like the Diesel is very well, it's not compressed, but it's like rounded off, so it sounds quite processed. I don't know how to otherwise call that type of sound. It has a roll off in the highs and lows in a way that a rounded sound somehow. And and the Bogner is to me somewhere in between something like that and something more natural, like a Soldano or whatever. It's like a very good mix.
Yeah, I think a little bit of Marshall-esque tone is also inside, tiny bit. At least I can relate to that.
The upper mid-range, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this hotness. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So and this capture, when I did it, comparison was the reference amp. It was spot on. There was nothing, and that's what was one of the most interesting to me, because this is a very complex sound. It was, I couldn't tell them apart.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I was feeling the same while doing. I mean, it's not too gainy, the Silver Jubilee, but it also can sound really complex if you put maybe a pedal in front. And I was just, as I dialed it in, I thought, okay, that's it. It sounds the same, feels the same.
Great.
That's awesome. All right, so let's maybe check out another one. So here we have the Carr Mercury, which I really enjoy. But before that, we need to change the IR, of course, and we need the matchless 2x12. And I also will leave on a little bit of reverb, spring reverb. So that's here.
Sorry, Fabian. One note, to our viewers. We used in this comparison only 2 IRs. For the high gain modern stuff, that's the Mesa 4x12 cab with Celestion V30s. And for all the other vintagey, boutique, and old school stuff, it's the 2x12 matchless cab with G12H and G12M speaker. It's my personal favorite for for general use. It's close enough to a Marshall cab, a bit more warmth in the mids. It kind of sounds fuller, more natural than a 4x12, which, as it turns out, actually scoops out the sound. And so that's just as a note. And the idea was we would not include like a bazillion IRs, because we wanted to really highlight the differences in the amps and compare that, because if you change the IR and like the speaker and all that thing was changing the amps, then you have so many variables. It's I think at some point harder to compare the stuff. So those speakers are basically a constant in our comparison. Yeah. And the only thing that we're switching around are the amps, and this is how you really can hear how different the amps actually sound. And it's really,
otherwise it's too confusing for the ears.
And you really can appreciate the differences and how well those units actually catch onto this amp character. Each very different amp. Okay, sorry. That's
all right. No, that's cool. So microphone. Yes, really nice. I love that Carr Mercury is always great to play for a kind of lead tone. some tiny bit of compressed, but in a good way.
Yeah, yeah, it's compressed and rather, well, I wouldn't call it dark, but warm. Yeah, again, rounded off on the top and bottom in a way that is really for the guitar, like the perfect spot.
Yeah, that's nice. All right, let's go down the road. The next one is the Diesel, so it's more high gainish again. Let's go back to the Mesa cabinet and let's engage it. And of course, microphone down. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Very, that was what you were talking about, these kind of a little bit more rounded off, but still nice and heavy.
Yeah, it's very hard to describe. It's not compressed because it's actually very dynamic and punchy, but yeah, processed or rounded off.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. I mean, it's a
No.
very unique sound.
Yeah, nice, really nice. Okay, so the next one requires different cabinet.
Or maybe, Fabian, it might be easier just to go through the high gain stuff in one run, so we don't have to switch around the cabinets every time. And
yeah, let's do this way. All right.
And then it's easier to compare for the listeners also between the high gain stuff and then
all right.
and the other stuff.
Let's do the next one, which is kind of your favorite, the dual rectifier, I guess. Okay, let's hear this one. Yeah, nice and dirty.
Yeah, the dual rectifier, I have a love-hate relationship with that. That's why Fabian was laughing, because he knows this.
Yeah.
That was like a different dual rectifier that I used to rent from a guy. Was the first dual, or no, actually that was a single rectifier that I borrowed, and I bit out my teeth trying to dial it in, and it was one of the first high gain amps that I gave a go with this stuff, and I had no idea what I was doing. And
it's very hard to dial them in.
Yeah, it was a very bad start, a very bad starter amp for high gain stuff.
Yeah, actually.
And yeah, so, but yeah, now we're better friends with the dual.
Nice. All right, let's go to the next one, which is the Mesa Mark V. So let's hear this one. The microphone down again. Yes, that really nice Mesa high end. I love Mesa boogies.
Yeah,
Really nice.
I like the Mark V actually a lot, even though people say it's like not their best, like the Mark IV or 2C Plus or whatever version is the favorite of many. I actually really like it. It's actually it's not that easy to dial in again for some like really mean stuff. You have to dig around for those sounds, but you can get there.
Because you have so many knobs and equalizers and stuff like this, switches. It's kind of hard, I think.
Yeah, but a lot of options. So yeah.
Yeah. option paralysis. All right, let's go. I think the last one, which is the Soldano.
Might be that's the last one, yeah.
Yeah, the last one for the high gain stuff. Let's here switch on some kind of reverb. And let's hear how this sounds. Yeah, I need to switch on the delay sometimes. It's more fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Another one that I rediscovered was those high gain sounds that I earlier could not get out of the Soldano in this way, and now I really like it for like a high gain type of thing. Could you please maybe play the Bogner again in the end?
Yeah,
now?
sure. Absolutely.
Just as a reference back to.
Yeah, it's a lot more saucy.
Yeah.
Yes, me more.
Yeah, that's a really
easier to play.
It's a very well balanced high gain
Yeah.
tone with a lot of nice spices in there. It's really great.
Yeah.
Okay, now the stuff that
Nice.
remains is all on the other cab.
Yes. Let's go for the BCAT actually, and then you can tell something about the BCAT. But at first, let me play some kind of reverb. Yeah, totally different world. Nice.
A beautiful
Really
sound.
nice. Yeah,
This was
beautiful.
your bright Les Paul.
Yeah, killer.
Great combination. Yeah, so this Era 30 BCAT amp that Mark Sampson designed shortly before he passed away. It has this EF86 channel, which is what we used here. And the EF86 tube is very unique in that it has a lot more frequency bandwidth on the top and then bottom than the 12AX7s that we're very used to. And it is also has a very different compression characteristic. So it has almost no headroom. The channel, it's barely on, and it already actually is not clean. So you don't get pristine cleans from it.
That's the beauty of it,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and this is a very complex sound, even in the preamp section already. Not talking even about what happens later, but
Okay.
so and these compression characteristics and this bandwidth and the harmonics that come along with it. The soon this amp starts to drive, there's a lot of stuff going on, and that was one of the amps, actually the main one, the first one where I noticed a slight difference in the Quad Cortex version 2 capture. It caught most of the harmonics when listening to a chord ringing out, but there were some like the highest of those harmonics that are apparent in the time where the chord dies out. I could hear that they are gone in the Quad Cortex capture.
Okay.
So that was when you were switching automatically between them. You hear like in the one there's in the capture there's like this these highest harmonics are
Yeah, okay.
gone. But not all of them. So a lot of those harmonics were there, just not like the craziest stuff. So
Sure. Let me test one thing else. Let me please switch off the noise gate. I hate noise gates, but it's better to leave it on here. But here off, just I want to try out how the volume knob actually reacts, because I think that's a very important thing. Let's try it out. Yeah, that's fascinating. It really is killer. I guess there is some difference, of course, when you roll down, if you have the real amp or if you have the capture, but I think it's way better than before. Way better, if you ask me.
yeah. I actually I didn't play around a lot with this volume pot thing on the guitar. I haven't tested that. I did it on a couple of captures. Seemed identical to me in those cases, at least. But I think there was one capture, I don't remember which amp, where like you felt like you can get the same result, but you would have to put the pot slightly in different positions for the capture or for the real amp. But other than that, it sounded the same. But so.
But that doesn't matter if you play live or if you record something, and if it works just at a different spot, hey, it works. Yeah. That's what the point.
So yeah, I too think that those dynamics in regard to the volume pot reaction and all that, it's all there. So yeah.
Actually, quite funny, because just one thing, I'm just noticing how well balanced this Les Paul actually is, because I was just. Oh, nice. Sorry,
Fabian, you get a lot of nice comments about your Les Paul.
Man, I love it. I would never give it away. It's at least it's my very best sounding guitar. I can say this.
Please remind me and the viewers, because one of the most frequent questions is what is that? So it's not a Gibson. What is it?
It's actually a Menzinger. They're built in Poland. Menzinger Preacher. It's called. Sorry for the stock tuner. It's this brand. And also, I did some voodoo things with it. So as you might can see, it's very damaged. It had some cryo tuning. Have you ever heard about it?
I've heard about it.
We don't have to go in detail, but it really. I mean, honestly, I'm very skeptical. I was very skeptical, and I got paid for it for this demo, and it's okay. But with this guitar, it really opens up a new world. It never sounded better, I have to say it. I had two Stratocasters which were way too bright to them. They didn't sound good at all. But for this guitar, it was the holy grail.
It made it brighter.
Yeah, brighter, and not brighter, more responsible, and very even on all notes. You can go up very high and still sounds musical, not harsh.
Okay. I have no opinion about this. I've never tried it. I can't comment. I've read people, saying various things.
Barking at the moon and stuff like this. It's okay, but in the end, it doesn't matter, because this instrument feels and sounds amazing for me. So it doesn't matter.
It has that thing that a lot of guys who want a Les Paul, it does that telly on steroids thing. I think that the brightness, which is I envy you for that guitar. It's really nice piece.
It's love it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, and one note about the Era 30. I was actually another thing why this sound is so complex and interesting. I was in shock when I opened it up and I saw that the power supply, the power transformer, is that of a 100 watt amp. Like the size exactly. That's not an exaggeration. It's literally the kind of power transformer you would see in a 100 watt plexi, maybe even slightly larger. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. The output transformer was like a normal size for that kind of thing, a bit oversized. The power transformer is insane, and I actually had this very interesting experience with the Twilighter, the Magnatone. I used to own the mono version, the normal version. I sold it to buy a old Marshall, and I had gotten it for a steal, for a really great price. And from then I always looked for another one, but they got even more expensive. So and I somehow got a fantastic deal on a stereo version, and I thought, it's so cumbersome, I don't need this. Why would I need this for capturing purposes? So, but okay, I got it because the price was great, and it turned out it doesn't sound the same, even though it is like literally the same amp twice. And I even wrote engineers at Magnatone. They even replied to me. That was a very pleasant surprise, and they confirmed it. It's the same amp twice. It should not sound different, but I kind of friendly pressed them and said, well, they do sound different. Like the mono version collapsed in itself in a nice way. It's like a vintage sound. Yeah, it's a typical thing that a lot of tweed amps do. But the stereo version does not do that, or does it later, or it holds itself better, way better than the mono version. I personally prefer the stereo version a lot. And then they replied, it might have to do with the power supply or the power transformer, because obviously, as it has to power two sides, it's a bigger unit, and maybe some more reserve built in, and so on. So that's what a lot of people say, that a beefier power transformer is what gives you often a more different sound than a different output transformer. It has a lot of effect on the sound, and one of the reasons why this Era 30 is such a magic amp is this, as it turns out. It's insane.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Sorry for the rant, but
no, I think that's very important to know, because you can never know enough when it comes to amps, actually.
Especially if you play captures.
Yeah, especially then. It's a lot easier. All right, so let's go to the Fender. So which Fender is it exactly?
I don't remember.
That's good.
Well,
I think it's the
TV. Okay, that's the basement.
Yeah.
That's the basement.
Yeah, the basement.
And for the basement, so as I noted, I had an idea which amps and why to pick. One of the reasons I picked the basement is that it does exhibit a bit of that sag. It's not a lot. It's not drastic, and you have to really listen carefully for that. But if you know what it is, then you can find it. So and the thing, sag is similar to compression, but different, because when you hit hard, it doesn't just even out the level. The level instantly drops. The first the harder you hit, the more actually the level drops for the first attack, and then it climbs back. And let's try. If it's not very obvious. It's not like I didn't go for a super broken sound. I should have actually. Would have been a good test. For this one, you have to really listen close, but it's there.
All
I
right.
think.
Let's find out. Yeah, it's a killer tone anyway.
Yeah, but I didn't hear that. Did you feel that?
Not too much. Yeah, a little bit. Not too much as I was expecting. I was really expecting. Now it really gets down.
Yeah.
But you definitely can feel that nice character.
Yeah, but listening back, I definitely didn't hear that.
No, it wasn't there.
Playing it, I felt that a bit when you know what to listen for. But that's not the most obvious case. But I think we also have the JTM 45 in there, right? Is it there? That's it literally arrived yesterday in one piece, thankfully. And I did a capture of it straight away, and it sounds quite similar to the Bassman, a bit different. That's not a surprise. It's basically almost the same amp. And maybe you could play that one next.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Yeah, really nice. But here I can feel it a lot more actually.
Okay.
It's more sagging, but
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I love that sound. This amp is really.
Yeah.
I used to have this also for the guys who are asking me about the version 2 of the updates. I've been asked daily about that a lot of times. So I used to own a JTM45 script logo amp. I sold that. This is not the same amp. This is a different amp. And I was not really convinced by that amp. It sounded good, and I liked it, and a lot of customers liked it. But it was not the it was not the sound that I heard in my head how this model should sound.
So you go more for the bluesbreaker kind of sound.
That's a different story. That's a different story.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's another thing that we have in the works, so to speak. But yeah, this typical script logo, the classic JTM45 was the Drake output transformer. Yeah, it's basically like this tweed basement thing, but a bit broader sounding, a bit less MIDI. The tweed basement is more mid-focused because of the difference in negative feedback and all that stuff. But so they're very similar, but there are some differences. And yeah, so
one thing question that really interests me is when there is less negative feedback or there's more. What's the difference? If you can
the more there is, the more linear the sound gets, so it flattens the amp basically.
Okay.
And you can hear that actually when you compare them. So the thing is that Marshall, when they copied the basement, they did not account for this difference in the speakers. So the output impedance on the tweed basement is 2 ohms, and it's 16 ohms on the Marshall, and they didn't calculate for the difference in the negative feedback. So in the end, the Marshall has a lot more negative feedback, and that is why it sounds less MIDI. It has more lows and highs. It sounds bigger, basically.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good thing to know. You can never learn enough. That's cool. All right, let's maybe go to the JT100 then.
Yeah, that's another amp just came in, another Marshall Plexi. Yeah. It's a relative of the Rex. It's also a 67.
It's a brother.
Yeah. It doesn't have the black flag on the panel, but it has again another variation of the black flag amp inside. Basically, it has also the narrow vent on top of the cab. So it's basically another black flag. The lamp just dropped.
That's kind of funny. Really nice. Okay, I will play a little bit while you repair your lamp. That's what I wanted to hear. Really nice. It reminds me a little bit of the Rex, but a little bit brighter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is a bit different. It's I haven't had a lot of time with it, but it might be a bit brighter, and I think it also has
in a good way.
Yeah, and I think it also has, because both of those captures were done with the treble on 10. It needs the brightness. It needs the treble because it's a rather darkish or warm amp, and in both cases it was on 10, so that's the maximum that you can get treble out of it, and I think this has a bit more.
Nice. So then let's go to the big Dragon, I think. And the Dragon, you have to tell a little bit about the Dragon, because I guess there are many people who know already what I'm talking about, but tell them.
Yeah, Sun Dragon Super Dragon is a very special amp. that is a collaboration between Mitch Colby and Jimmy Page. So it's a super authentic clone of Jimmy Page's #1 amp, which is a 68 super bass Marshall Plexi, and that amp was modified by Tony Frank, a guy who was a go-to guy for mods for many big names in the music industry, and I think he was located in New York. And so that amp has, among other things, it has KT88 tubes, so it's basically one big step closer to a Marshall Major. It still has, for the most part, a bass spec like a normal super bass preamp with some slight tweaks. There's like, I looked into it, there's nothing like really fancy. There are some deviations, but you know, there is a recipe to that and all that, but it's not a lot of big mods or something. It's small tweaks and calculations for the voltages, and the result is a extremely punchy, extremely dynamic amp that has a lot of headroom. It kind of feels almost punchier than the majors I have, because the majors have a lead spec. So I guess that has to do it with that, because you know they're more mids focused because of the preamp, and I assume they could obviously generate even more punch and weight, but you know it's a whole system. So in this case, the Dragon is at least holds its own against majors. So that's what we picked here. And yeah, I'm also often asked about when the Dragon captures are going to come out, so the answer is still when the new website finally is out, and for now it seems to be maybe February. So, but it's a good thing that I waited for this, so we will have the Quad Cortex version 2, ToneX version 2, maybe even Kemper version 2.
Who knows?
And maybe even Proxy, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Fantastic. And I think it really also sounds killer if you put a pedal in front of it.
Yeah, it almost needs a pedal if you want more gain.
I was thinking a little bit more.
Well, maybe give the gain knob a try. How does it sound if you gain it up?
Yeah, let's try this. Why not? I have a better idea. Let's try something. Let's just put an overdrive in front since we have it.
Yeah, and one note, Jimmy Page used it famously with his Echoplex to boost it, so there's a good reason to boost it. It really needs.
Yeah.
Well, I could have done the capture with 10. It still sounds great, but I wanted to have more of this dynamic thing going on, so yeah, I stopped short of going to
problem.
10.
Should I go with the Tube Screamer 808?
Just give it a try.
Yeah, let's try this. Just boosting the level, no overdrive, just a little bit of tone. I think that's a good recipe, and let's see how this sounds. Sounds nice. Really cool. All right, let's get rid of it. But I think it works.
Yeah, it's also a lot brighter than the normal super bass. Yeah, more dynamic, brighter, and punchier. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely. That was I want to say this because it really feels tight on the fingers.
Yeah,
really nice.
Extremely tight.
So I guess no matter what overdrive pedal you put in front, I think it really shines with it.
Yeah.
It's also fuzzes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it has an insane string separation. When you play a chord, you can literally you feel like each string. Like I haven't tried
Actually,
any other.
it's a little bit harder to play because you have to play really clean because it picks
yeah.
up every nuance.
Yeah, it's
nice.
It's
it's a
insane.
good thing. Yeah. All right. So should we go with the Vox then? Let's pick the Vox. Yes, has that nice Vox character. Love it.
Yeah, this
Really.
this is the Vox AC34, the phone 2x12 combo, a holy grail, and that's the EF86 channel, the normal channel, and this is I recently acquired it, and I didn't know what to expect. I had to try it once in my life because I know so many people are raving about it, and I had this Era 30 recently, and it was a fantastic experience. So I had to try this, and it really is a very unique, special, and fantastic sound. And what to me this is about, it has a harmonic richness that like nothing else. Even the BCAT Era 30, it has a completely different sound. It sounds nothing like this. It cannot do this kind of harmonic richness in that same way. It's different gain staging and whatnot. So but yeah, it's insane. And it's also, the channel is extremely bright. If you set like the cut control on 0 and play even a humbucker guitar, it's a lot of treble, and that's, as I learned, one of the reasons why after they switched away from the EF86 tube to 12X7s, that's why they reintroduced or tried to reintroduce some of the brightness with the top boost add-on, because Mark Jenny felt Dick Denny was the designer. He thought there's too little treble. He wanted more treble in there, and apparently he was deaf, almost.
Okay.
He needed. His hearing wasn't good, and he was exposed to a lot of loud noises for a long time, and he needed the treble. So and again, this is a very extreme sound. And the Quad Cortex got it right. That's again, that was one of those cases. There was, it was identical. So
nice, really nice. All right, let's go to the Tone King Imperial then. Edge. Okay, let's check this one out. killer edge of breakup tone. Love it. It's nice. That's why I was using some kind of delay, because I think it's always nice to have it with this kind of tones.
Yeah, here the Tone King Imperial is one of our long-running classics. One of the customer favorites.
Yeah, it's for a reason.
Yeah, it's great. It's supposed to be like a deluxe reverb kind of thing, and
but better. Oh, did I say it loud?
Yeah, you're not allowed to say it, but I think
different. That's
yeah. I have compared them. I think I really prefer the Imperial. Yeah,
it's a little bit more. Yeah, it's a little bit more cleaned up, I guess.
Yeah, more modern, like the Era 30, for example. If you compare it with the matchless DC30.
Yeah,
it's cleaned up, more modern, but in a good sense. Not that it is clinical, but some of the fuzzies are taken out, and it holds itself better together, and that's all things that I personally like. I like it when the amp is capable of keeping stuff together. So
yes, nice. So why don't we use a tone with fuzz? I think that's a good idea, because really, so we can hear what is going on. So let's maybe go for the Magnatone. Magnum is another thing. For the fuzz, is that okay for you?
Yeah.
All right. Check this one out. Sorry, just some noodling around. That was nice.
So Fabian, as you once told me, the fuzz is not for me.
Yeah, I'm getting older. No, I enjoy this a lot, because it's so much options when you dial back. It depends also on the fuzz pedal, of course, but if you dial back, you get a really nice, cleanish, better clean tone, I would say. Some edgy vibes, and it's very versatile.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, this it sounded killer. So it was a Twilighter stereo amp with the Mark III tone bender in front, and
nice.
Yeah, it's one of also customer favorites was fuzz pedals. Just recently, also some guys reminded me about this combination. It was I think we did Rival Sons cover of some song. Yeah. It was that, and because they used this amp for some while, I think, or the mono version of it, I think, and so it sounds spectacular. And
it's also really killer how the Quad Cortex now takes it, because before version 1 you can forget it with fuzzes. I think you tried it and you said, oh no, it's not working.
Yeah, it's like it did an interpretation, and often it sounded good. It sounded like a heavy overdrive or something. Often it was basically like sound design. You could experiment with that and get some great results often that sound musical and usable. But it couldn't really capture the fuzz quality at all. This is again spot on. This is one of the captures where I was looking at the automatic switching and listening and thinking, have they somehow, are they manipulating me?
Nice.
Yeah, really spot on.
That's really nice.
And the cleanup was insane. So the Mark III tone bender is not the best fuzz for cleanup. It's decent. It's quite good. Yeah. Not the worst also. but it's not even that great. But so even the more that the capture is still cleaned up really nicely. Very good.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's go for your favorite one, because I think this is one of your favorite amps. It's the Gibson GA-20.
Yeah.
I also enjoy this. It's a very, very nice tone. Why you choose this? Can you tell the people?
Yeah, so this was the other extreme to the Superdrive, and this is the most compressed amp I've encountered ever. So the Gibsons in general are on the compressed side, darker or warmer, and there are exceptions like the GA-19 is a very bright and lively amp for a Gibson especially. It's still darker than most, darker than Fender, but this GA-20 is like a rubber band. It's so spongy, gooey, and yeah, it's I think the most compressed amp and smooth sounding amp. So if anything goes wrong in the compression characteristics of the capture, then it should be audible. And again, this is another test that Quad Cortex version 2 survived. So
yeah, let's try that one. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. It has some warm character to it, which I really enjoy.
yeah, it's warm but still detailed. It's not dark like incidentally, it does a perfect match tonally to the Black Keys Lonely Boy sound, which I've tried to nail with. I have the Ampex that they use reportedly, that even Dan Auerbach himself has stated in an interview. So it's confirmed that it was that amp. I never came close to that sound with that amp. No, not at all. And this kind of nails it. I don't know why. I know that he also has Dan Auerbach has like a ton of vintage amps, and I saw some Gibsons in some pictures, and you know, he has a lot of stuff. So who knows what's happening in the studio? But yeah, it's a beautiful sound. And it might be one of the best or the best. You know, there's never the best, but like it's very well suited for blues. I would assume it has to be phenomenal
really
for that.
Nice. Yeah, nice. So what else we got? We have the Henry. Please tell us something about the Henry.
Yeah, the Henry. That's the fizziest amp I've ever. So it's like like an authentic clone of Vox AC10 SRT, which is a very unique circuit, and it's an extremely rare amp. And I've tried to get an original, but it ain't easy. So for now, it's this clone, but it's like a two EL84 output, kind of similar in tone in some aspects to the 18-watt Marshall, which is also a very fizzy amp. Well, I call it fizzy. Because I'm not a big fan of those upper mid-range harmonics that are going on there. People who like it will call it differently, of course. But this Henry SRT, I still think it sounds great. It just has this very pronounced fizz thing, and I thought it can't be that the Cortex will capture that fizz. And it nailed it. I must say that ToneX also totally nailed that amp. It sounds identical. So yeah.
All right, so let's have a listen. It's fun to play.
Yeah,
really
it's
detailed and fizzy.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, if anyone ever asks you what is fizz, refer him to this capture.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, did
Nice.
we leave anything out or?
Yes, one particular one, and it's the Mesa Boogie Lone Star.
Oh yeah.
Let's check this one out with some kind of delay and reverb, just a little bit, and let's see how this sounds. Yeah, Lone Star is killer, and it's also a fantastic pedal platform, and really I love it. Can't wait to play actually, because I'm really a fan, because these are the eye captures and I can use it with my real cabinet, with my power amp, and play all day.
Glad to make
So
you
nice.
happy.
Yeah, you actually did. Really.
This Lone Star was it was requested a lot by customers. One of the most requested one of the most requested amps, and the customer feedback is like insanely positive. It's one of the most positively received amps from our catalog from 3 years. So
Nice.
it's very popular and very loved, and I didn't know actually a lot about that amp before I got it, but it is one of those cases where the amp does.
I told you.
Yeah, and you told me
It
like
has to be.
a long
Yeah.
time ago. I think 2
Yeah.
years ago you told me you have to do that one. Yeah, and it has a great clean, great edge of breakup, crunch, lead. I personally prefer it for lead stuff more than the ODS Dumble style
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
It's
Me
more
too.
dynamic, which I like. Well, it's personal preference thing, of course, is with all those things, but it can kind of get into a similar gain territory with a more dynamic approach, and it does a lot of things beautifully, and it's one of I just listened back to some older captures of various different amps. It has one of the nicest clean sounds.
Yeah.
Ever.
For me, it's basically the 2C Plus of the clean side.
Okay.
So for the guys who love the 2C Plus for the heavy stuff, which I also love, is this the one for the Mesa cleans.
Yeah, it's beautiful indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Nice. So I'm really impressed actually, because I'm playing these also for the first time right now with the Quad Cortex and on headphones. And actually, I hate headphones, to be honest. But it was really an experience. I hope when I'm listening back, I feel the same. But right now, I can feel and say, kudos to you who did the captures again, dialing them in perfectly, and yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
kudos to Neural DSP in doing this sort of. It's not. It doesn't feel like an update. It's now to me, Quad Cortex is a new unit. Yeah, it's crazy. For ToneX, that was an update because the version 1 was actually really good already.
Yeah.
And version 2 did a incremental, quite big leap, but still it wasn't as drastic as with Quad Cortex. It's a huge jump, and I'm happy for them because. After they came out, basically after Camper, if I'm not mistaken, they were the next ones to bring out something like this, and they were basically the first product where I thought, okay, this is close enough to bother doing this capture thing, because for the Camper, I've always said it honestly, it has its own sound no matter what you do. Which is not a bad thing. It has a huge user base. A lot of professional guys use it on huge stages.
There are lots of videos, guys showing it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's okay.
So it's not about that it's bad sounds or something. But again, we're talking always about authenticity of the tones and all that stuff. So and Kemper had always this compressed voice going on that was always like at the core of every sound. And Quad Cortex was the first one that kind of melted into whatever you put into it. It kind of got the character right. And version 2 is now really, spot on.
Yeah.
Even if
I'm
you,
a big fan.
yeah, and it's a great hardware unit. It's fun to use.
Yeah.
The interface is great, so it's really elevated. Well, I can also say that from my customers, there's a lot of people who have reached out to me asking about cross-grade upgrades to ToneX from Quad Cortex because people noticed that ToneX sounds more authentic, and started switching and so on. And I think Neural DSP did this. Yeah, they did it at the right moment.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think at this point I don't think that it would be a reason to go back or to one or another direction, because I think both of them are equally good to the level where it matters, and it's all about then which unit you prefer, which is the price range you want to be in, and what features you need and all that. I would be happy with any of those, but I do prefer the Quad Cortex now. I think it's the even closer.
Me too in the moment now. I'm really, really, really happy, and it's a lot of fun. Feels so great under the fingers, and that's the most important thing for me, at least.
Yeah.
Because for me it's not that important. Okay, in the mix it will sound good no matter what, but how it feels is more important.
Yeah. Okay, so this was it. This was very long, but was a lot of various.
Worth it.
Was a lot of various sounds, so that you can really get a picture of what this unit can do. And so we're going to do a second part. I assume at this point was way less talking, or maybe no talking at all, where we would like to do a comparison between all the three kings of capturing world today: the Quad Cortex version 2, ToneX version 2, and NAM.
And the good thing is we're doing it with the hardware units, because I think we were talking about this, and I was thinking, okay, let's do the real fair comparison, because most guys, when they go to rehearsal space, they don't use a laptop. They want everything in a pedal, and I think it's really fair to test them out in this scenario.
Yeah, it is fair, because you're right. Also from my customers, what I hear most questions about is about the pedal use. It's not about the software. I always live in the software. I rarely dive into the pedals, but of course different with Quad Cortex, which is only with the pedal. But yeah. So, and for this comparison, we picked some of the most extremely different captures. I think 6. Maybe 7. So we narrowed it down to the one high gain sound. That's the Bogner. One really
compressed sound.
One really compressed sound. That's the Gibson GA-20. One dynamic sound. That's the Dragon, the Super Dragon. The fuzz sound. That's the Twilighter. Was the Fuzz. What else did we have there? Lead tone. The Carr Mercury or
Carr Mercury.
Yeah.
The Fender. You also did the Fender.
The Fender, you're right. The basement. The idea was the sag, which doesn't doesn't sag.
But it doesn't suck anyway.
It doesn't suck. Yeah.
So,
but it's
and also the fuzz. We need the fuzz.
Yeah, and the fuzz. Yeah. So that's the sounds that we're gonna compare between these three units. Fabian's gonna set them up as close as humanly possible with the input trim and the outputs and levels, and do a A/B comparison or ABC comparison between the three units to see if
and
we
should we maybe do it like please vote? What do you think? Is it a good idea?
Oh, we haven't talked about this at all.
Maybe reveal a few days later. I think
it's mean, but it's actually honest. Yeah, it's actually
it's
honest.
Yes.
And I would also then ask you not to tell me the answer.
That's the thing. And
because
I think in a few days I don't even know.
Yeah, because honestly, I think my guess for myself would be in a blind test. If I would hear a difference between them, I wouldn't know which one is which most probably. Well, if it's a slightly brighter, I know what I would guess that it is. If it's slightly darker, I also assume I know, you know, what it might be. But I don't think I'm going to hear that. I think that when you play it, it's more obvious.
When I'm playing, because I'm seeing it also.
yeah, exactly.
But no. But I think in the end, it will be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. We're going to reveal it then in a couple of days or in a week or something. I don't know how long usually people do this kind of thing. But yeah, let's do a blind test.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Man, so much great stuff is coming out, and Neural DSP. Hats off to you, really nice.
Yeah. The race seems to be on. Yeah. Okay.
It took a while. And
but it was soon.
It was soon, yes. Sooner or later, they got it.
Yeah, and I got it really right. So you know, I've also you know, I never really talked bad about Neural, about those delays, because you know, if you ever try to do a product yourself, you know how things can go. I totally understand that, but whatever it may be with those delays and all that, and also that they still don't have a marketplace, that is such a wasted opportunity for them. I think for themselves. First of all, they could, you know, cash in revenue that they deserve for, you know, the opportunity that we have to use this product and to share the captures. I'd gladly, you know, give my share back to them. That's only, you know, normal. And I would be so happy to have a proper management of the stuff for Quad Cortex. So
maybe someone will watch and say that's the right thing. We need to do this as quick as possible.
Yeah, that would be great, because I really would love to dive back in even more into Quad Cortex again when I see this or hear this kind of authenticity again in there. That is very motivating for me. So it's fun.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
So should we wrap things up?
Yeah, we're wrapping it up, and we're gonna blend in the comparison part later on, and here I probably say goodbye to Fabian.
Yeah. Goodbye, Carlis. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks so much for watching.
See you when Proxy comes out.
Yeah. Yes.
And Camper too.
Yes, Camper too. Right, so let's do the big comparison. To make it as fair as possible for all the units, I used a looper. So I played something in, and for the particular amp, and then everything from the looper inside the units, the 3 big units, and then I named it A, B, and C. So the particular order of the demo tones here is, the first one is the Bogner Uberschall, the second one is the BCAT, the third one is the Super Dragon, then there is the Gibson GA-20, after that we have the Magnatone with a Fuzz in front, then we have the Vox, and at least we have the Carr Mercury. So yeah, let us know what you think, if it's A, B or C, and which unit you prefer, because I think it's the most important thing to decide what you like best. Or is there even a difference for you, or does it sound actually pretty much the same? I have my favorite, and I also can tell from how it feels, but that's not the part of the video right now. Here is just listen and decide what you think. All right, so let's start right away.